We're back on the 32. This may be the last, if not one of the last things I have to do before we're ready for first start on this one. Of course, I've got fluids to add and things like that, but I'm talking about getting mechanically everything ready. With this car, the next thing I've got to do, and I teased this on a short, is I have to do a vacuum line from the modulator valve on the transmission up to manifold vacuum in order to be able to control the shift points. Of course, that valve is adjustable, and we'll get to that later in another video as far as adjusting that to get the shift points, because I got to get it started first before I know how to adjust the shift points. Go figure. This is what we're going to have to hook up. Now, the first thing I had to do was identify a vacuum point. I thought about using this one right here, if I can get a good shot of it. If you can see that rubber point right there, let me see if I can point to it here. This area right here is a vacuum point. The problem is everything I've seen on forums and everything else is that's not necessarily the best point. Pulling straight off the intake manifold is going to be best. Now, there's two vacuum ports available on this manifold. I am going to choose this one. This one in the Edelbrock manual is noted as not having vacuum at idle. I want good vacuum at all times, so I'm going to tie it into that. Now, what that's going to require is this. Now, quick trip to Ace Hardware. Hey, no, I'm not the sponsor. Yielded this particular vacuum port. This is a 3/8 inch NPT to 5/16 hose barb. That is going to go into that. Then I will use these rubber connections to go to this. Then what I have to do is custom fit bend this 1/4 inch steel piece of tubing to go around and down through the firewall until I can get my light on here. Wish the light was left on, so that's not going to work. So I'm just going to have to do this the old-fashioned way. See if I can get up in here. This right here. That is the vacuum modulator that I have to hook everything up to. So that right there is going to be snuck up and into the vacuum port. You'll have the rubber elbows at either end. You'll have the vacuum port going into the manifold, the steel line connecting it. Let's get started. Okay, that is out. Now I've got to get my port. I'm going to have to put some Teflon tape on this to make sure I got a good sealed end. Of course, I'm just going to be using standard Teflon tape for this, wrapping it in the area like that, so it seals the threads up on this NPT connection. That way we've got a nice, good, sealed bunch of threads. Just like so. Again, that's 3/8 NTP into a 5/16 barb fitting. I'm going to snug it on using an 11/16 socket. Of course, you don't want to go too tight on these because that's brass and it can twist off easily. Now I've got my vacuum port set. The first connection, of course, is going to be the rubber elbows, which these are actually stock parts for a 66 Mustang to connect vacuum lines. I'm just going to press that over. This is vacuum, so it will just press on. There's no clamp or anything necessary for it. Just needs to be a good seal, and with the barred fittings that will be more than adequate. Just like that. Now of course that has flexibility to it. We'll go straight across here and then down. Time to cut the line. I'm going to be measuring and doing my first pipe bend here on this particular to get that loaded. Basically get a rough measurement of where I want this to duck down. It's going to be bent right about there. Like that. Now just to get a rough idea to see how close I came to the new bend, that will go exactly where I want it to go. I need to figure out where to start bending this down. As you can see here, here's the rubber connection for that. I'm going to rough end this to get a rough idea where I need to cut. I'm going to cut this line off there and then bend it to get it ready. I think I'll go ahead and bend it first right there. Measure that and see what we can do with it. You see there I've got my pipe bent. I can tweak it a little bit, but I'm going to cut it right there to go into the actual mark. I've got some flexibility in this, so I don't have to be enormously precise, but I just need to get it close. Right there. Okay, that's cut. Let's clean it up a little bit. Clean all the burrs off of it. Like so. Then it should fit right in there. Just like so. Now all I've got to do is secure that. I can tie that off on something to make sure it's nice and tight, and I don't have to worry about anything. But that gives me a nice tight line, and as you can see here, as I hope you can see here, there we go. There's the line running right there, going up, and then let's crawl back out front. Again, coming through here, up to the vacuum line, which I can go ahead and straighten that out now. I can push that in a little more. I can even actually get rid of that flare because it fits in that nicely. I think I'll do that right now. Now pipe putter, I'm going to go ahead and cut that line off. That way it'll fit in there nice and tightly. I can get that flare off there if it is not needed. Remove that flare, clean off my line, make sure no metal gets pulled down in there. If I can get my tool to cooperate here. That's nice and clean. Now this can fit in there nice and neat. Just like that. Now all I got to do is tie that off on a few things, make it nice and sturdy, and it should be good to go. Okay, I've got some light on the subject. There's my vacuum line going there, going down through here. See, the vacuum line comes down through there and down into the modulator valve. Please excuse my crappy camera work. I'm doing the best I can on this. But essentially, what that's going to do is that feeds vacuum to that and allows it to adjust the ship points. Again, we'll get to the adjustment part of it on another video, but that's just a quick and dirty way of building a vacuum line to go from intake, constant intake vacuum to the modulator valve on the back of the C4 transmission. That's going to do it for this one. Just a real quick video to show you how to do this. I've got to do some cleanup work and do some tweaking, get it tied down to where it's not moving around a lot. But that's essentially it. That connection's done. We're almost ready to start this thing. Hey, take care. Be sure and hit like and subscribe. Come back and see us. I hope you do.